As teenagers, many of us wonder about the meaning of life. Aside from the daily routine of waking up, eating, going to school, going home, procrastinating, breathing, and sleeping if we have time to fit that into our obviously busy schedules, what else is there to do with life? Well, in my 15 years of living in this corrupted world, I was able to gain at least one thing from it. Don't focus on what you want to do in this world, but rather who you want to be in it. Establish your identity and the rest will naturally follow. And who am I in this world? I am an egg. It's very easy for people to crack me open and befriend me, but I usually have a hard time opening up fully to people because I either have trust issues or feel like a burden. Like a fresh egg placed in water, I'm a very flexible person that tends to go with the flow. I usually agree to what other people want because I want them to be more happier around me. But like a spoiled egg, when something difficult happens in my life, I tend to drown in my thoughts and emotions. My escape for this is just trying to forget about everything and just plastering on a smile. My mom is a musically talented person with perfect pitch, which is funny because my dad is tone deaf to the point where nobody knows what song he's trying to sing. While majoring in English in Korea, my mom decided to just drop out of college and come to America for a vacation. Of course, she stayed after meeting my dad, who came to America for better job opportunities. Even though she was previously an English major, she magically forgets how to speak it when, for example, we're ordering pizza. So I'm usually the one who ends up taking the time to have a wonderful 5-minute conversation with a worker who gets paid to be nice to you and bribe you with all sorts of daily deals. After my parents were shipped over to America on an airplane, they met each other at church. When I asked my parents how long they dated before getting married, it was pretty shady. My mom told me 1 year and my dad told me 1 month. I'm guessing they just had a fling on the down low for a while. Because my dad was really poor, my grandpa was strongly against their marriage. He sat my mom down and gave her the typical Asian lecture of what not to do in order to have a successful life. But of course my mom, infatuated by my super hot dad with a six-pack, decided to marry him. It's too bad abs aren't genetic, if you know what I mean. When I was younger, success to me looked like going to Harvard. Stanford was my plan B, and of course Yale was my last resort. As long as I can remember, I was very ambitious. I wanted to do everything that this world had to offer me, like being a dentist, singer, author, firewoman, pianist, dancer, and lastly, the President of America. But most of all, I wanted to be the owner of my dad's electric supply wholesale company, Resco. I was really good with money, spotting those sales, so I thought I would make the perfect businesswoman. Since I didn't want my dad to look down on me because of my age, I waited all the way until I was 6 years old to bring up the business with him, and he said yes. Unfortunately, he said no when I asked him again in 5th grade, where I guess he kind of took me a little more seriously. But luckily, I had 30 other backup careers in mind. A happy place of mine is the corner wall of my backyard, or the cheese brick. The story behind the cheese brick goes like this. When we had a lot more time on our hands, my good friend Leah and I would meet up almost every week to play, or hang out since we're high schoolers now. After a while, mostly me because Leah was never a lazy person, got tired of walking an entire 5 minutes to each other's houses. So we started climbing over my backyard wall. For safety, we even spent an entire afternoon using clippers to cut off dangerous parts of a thorn bush that was engulfing the wall. Even though the thorn bush has grown back because we can't meet up as much anymore, the memories still live on. For example, when I had surgery last year and I couldn't get out of my house without crutches, Leah dropped off my favorite food with a heartfelt letter at the cheese brick. The only thing better than the sushi was her kindness. Another happy place for me is Knott's Berry Farm. Even though I'm deathly afraid of heights, I was forced onto the ride Supreme Scream because of peer pressure. The first time I rode it, I closed my eyes the entire time so I thought I could handle it. But the second time, when I rode it with my eyes open, reality check! I couldn't handle it. But either way, Knott's is a happy place because of the memories that were made there. I'll never forget the 27-cent caramel-covered apple pops. Even though I never got over my fear of heights, I faced it. And that's what matters. One of the most influential people in my life is the first man that held my hand and kissed me. He's also the lucky guy who got to potty train me. This person is my dad. Even though my dad set an example for me in generosity and humility, the most incredible thing about him is that he can always smile through the toughest times of his life. The strength he has to continue fighting through difficulties really encourages me to keep fighting too. Another influential person in my life is my future husband, Jeremy Lin. With all honesty, my love for Jeremy Lin has gotten me a lot of hate. But people need to realize that I like Jeremy, yes, we're on first name terms, as a person, not a basketball player. He's literally the full package deal. He's athletic, dedicated, faithful, hardworking, kind, and Asian. But what I admire most about him is that he never gave up and continued to strive for what he loved most. Someday, I want to be that happy too. In November of 2013, I was able to see him breathing and living with my very own eyes. When Jeremy's team, the Rockets, came to Los Angeles to play the Clippers, my dad surprised me with courtside tickets to the game. Meeting someone you have admired for years is like your reality exploding. I never doubted our love for each other, but it's really encouraging to see that your significant other actually exists. Of course, I had to live in the moment, so I screamed and waved and screamed again a bunch of times just so he would look at me. And guess what? He did! I used to think that I was invincible. My secret weapons were my teeth. I used them for everything, including opening things and especially biting people. But life came along and I was stabbed with my kryptonite in 5th grade. It was just another Sunday afternoon and I was walking home with Joelle and our sisters. I was walking ahead of all of them, feeling completely relaxed as the wind was just blowing through my hair, and my mind, for some odd reason, suddenly wondered what it would be like to be Helen Keller, a successful woman who was both deaf and blind. Since it's physically impossible to block all sources of noise out of your system, I figured that closing my eyes and walking down the street would do me justice. So I closed my eyes and started walking, still feeling very relaxed, and walked face first into a car. Whoa! I wiggled my tongue around my mouth, realized that half of my 2 front teeth were missing, spit the broken fragments onto my hand, stared at my chipped teeth, and started to bawl because I thought I was gonna die, basically. By the next day at school, I was smiling because I thought my chipped teeth made me look like a vampire. But my mom told me that I looked ridiculous and made me go to the dentist later that week. I ended up chipping them off again around 6 times. But I still learned a lesson of responsibility. Dream big, but only within this claustrophobic box of pre-selected options. Outstanding grades and extracurricular activities lead to success. I'm pretty sure most of us have faced pressure from teachers or parents at least once in our lives. However, even though many of us feel misunderstood, adults are too. I don't view adults as dream killers, because in the end, they don't even hold the power to eradicate our dreams. They simply want us to have a more rational perspective on life. Imagine in elementary, if all the girls dropped out of school to be a rock star like Hannah Montana. Adults are just like us. They want happiness. Their flaw is that many of them think that happiness lies in materialistic possessions. Break that vicious cycle. The things that we work hardest for are the things that we value the most. The things that we value the most are the things that we're afraid to lose. In my case, it's my self-esteem. When I was in 4th grade, my mother told me that my hair was too long and that people would confuse me with the chick from The Grudge. She convinced me to get a trim, also known as calling the person who cuts my hair beforehand and telling her to cut off 10 inches. So I go to school the next day and I was extremely self-conscious. And my friend decided that it was a perfect time to tell me that she accidentally thought that I was another boy from our class. I felt really bad about myself for a while, but thank the good heavens that hair grows back. My appreciation for my hair was a little extreme for a while. I even had a goal for 2 years to become the first Asian Rapunzel. Well, just like a haircut, hard times eventually pass. And this is something that still encourages me today and helps me battle my daily insecurities. Difficulties are like a plate of vegetables. Nobody likes vegetables. I know, because I'm American. We have a natural tendency to be negative about them because we think we deserve a better meal. But in reality, we're blessed to even have food on our plates. Instead of moping around and complaining and wanting more, I believe that one should be optimistic. Pick yourself up and tackle the problem head on. Something I've loved doing as long as I can remember is making music. In elementary school, I used to perform, dancing and singing in front of my relatives and family members. The most rewarding part was that I was able to see them laugh and smile. But later on, as I started to care too much about what other people thought, my love for performing became self-centered. And I eventually just stopped trying to musically improve altogether because I just thought that I would never be good enough. Things changed in 7th grade when I met my guitar teacher at church, Sam, who we all called Spam. I remember watching him play and getting inspired. And when he offered free guitar lessons, that's exactly when my optimistic side kicked in. It was the moment I realized that I shouldn't be pursuing music for other people, but rather myself. I remember playing guitar and singing for 6 hours every day during the summer just because I loved it. This gave me the confidence to start playing other instruments like piano. Even though Spam had to leave because he joined the military, and I really miss him, I'm still thankful that he was able to bring out the optimistic side in me. A wise Crystal fam once told me, good memories come from bad decisions. I'm not telling you to YOLO and toilet paper your English teacher's house at midnight. I'm just saying if you're planning on living the teenage life and doing something you'll moderately regret in the future, do it with the right people. Make friends who are caring and loyal and appreciate every moment you have with them. It's the little things that matter, like countless all-nighters with your art history classmates because of severe cases of procrastination, or meeting up at 5 a.m. at Starbucks to do art history. Surround yourself with people you can suffer with, but most importantly, surround yourself with people who will smile through life with you.